We bought the house because of the yard, wide, grassy, and fenced all the way around, perfect for our daughter to play in. After years of living in cramped apartments, it felt like space, like freedom. The house itself was old, wood creaked, pipes groaned, but it was solid. 2 stories and an attic we didn't bother opening the first few weeks. It was dusty and smelled like rot, sealed shut since the last owners moved out. We figured we'd deal with it later. We should have dealt with it then. It was a Saturday afternoon when I first noticed something was off. My daughter was outside, playing in the yard with chalk, humming to herself. I stepped onto the porch to bring her some juice. "Hey, sweetheart," I said. "What you drawing?" She smiled and looked up at the house. "At him," she said. I followed her gaze. She was staring at the attic window. At first I saw nothing, just the dirty glass and the pale curtains we hadn't touched. Then I looked closer. There was a handprint, small, on the inside of the window. I didn't want to scare her. I asked gently, "Who are you talking about?" She giggled and said, "The boy in the attic. He watches me play." That night I brought it up to my wife. She brushed it off. Probably just her imagination. You know how kids are. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. That window, that handprint. The attic we hadn't touched since moving in. So after everyone went to bed, I grabbed a flashlight and climbed the creaky stairs. The attic door was stiff, the wood warped from time. When I finally forced it open, a cloud of dust choked the air. The room was empty, mostly. Old boxes, torn wallpaper, a broken rocking horse in the corner. But on the floor, directly beneath the window, was a circle of chalk drawings, childlike, fresh, stick figures. One small, one tall, both frowning. I cleaned the window the next day, wiped the handprint away. But that afternoon, my daughter pointed to the attic again. "He's back," she whispered. The drawings changed after that. She used to draw animals, flowers, family pictures. Now she drew the house, always the same, her outside, a boy in the attic window, watching. His face had no eyes, just dark, scribbled holes. One night, I passed her room and heard her talking. She was alone. I stepped in. She turned quickly, eyes wide as if I'd interrupted something. "Who were you talking to, honey?" I asked. She looked at the closet door. "Just him," she said. "He doesn't like when you come in." That night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps above us, slow, heavy, pacing the attic. My wife didn't hear it. My daughter slept soundly, but I knew what I heard. I set up a camera the next day, just inside the attic door, motion activated. That night, the camera triggered at 2:14 a.m. The footage showed the empty attic. For a moment, then the rocking horse started moving, back and forth, slowly, and in the corner of the screen the chalk stick figure was being drawn, one line at a time, by nothing. I confronted my daughter. I didn't want to scare her, but I had to know. "Is he real?" I asked. "This boy in the attic?" She looked at me with blank eyes. "He was here before us," she whispered. "He doesn't like sharing his house." The attic door wouldn't open after that. It was locked, from the inside. I hadn't put a lock on it. The air in the house changed, heavier, colder. And at night, I started seeing things out of the corner of my eye. A shadow at the top of the stairs, the attic window glowing faintly, footsteps on the ceiling, pacing above our bed. And my daughter? She was changing, paler, quieter. She stopped calling him her friend. Now she called him her brother. One night, I woke up to the sound of her laughter. I rushed to her room. She was gone. The window was open. The ladder to the attic had been pulled down. I climbed. The attic was pitch black, only my flashlight cutting through the dust. The circle of drawings was back, but now there were 3 figures. One small, one tall, one lying down. Beside the chalk was a single fresh handprint, small, pressed in blood. Then I heard it, behind me, clicking, slow, like nails tapping the wood. I turned and saw them. My daughter standing in the dark, smiling, and beside her, him, a boy, or something like one. His face was wrong, stretched, skin gray and too smooth, as if it had been painted on. His eyes were hollow. His mouth was open just enough to see teeth, rows of them. He raised one hand, pointed at me, and whispered, "She's mine now." I don't know how I got back down. I don't remember the fall, only waking up in the hospital. They said I had a breakdown, that I tried to climb into the attic and fell. My wife and daughter were gone by then. They never found them. The attic was empty, but sometimes, when I walk past an old house or see an upstairs window, I see them. 2 figures, one watching, one smiling, and a handprint pressed against the glass. I woke up just after 2:30 a.m. At first, I wasn't sure what had stirred me. The house was still. No wind outside, no creaking floorboards, just silence. Then I heard it. A voice, soft, whispers, coming from down the hall. I sat up slowly, listening. It was my daughter's room. She was talking to someone. I got out of bed, careful not to wake my wife. The floor was cold beneath my feet as I stepped into the hallway. The glow of her nightlight spilled faintly beneath her door. As I got closer, the whispers became clearer. It was definitely her voice. "Okay," she was saying, "but I don't think Daddy will like that." Pause. Then, "Because he gets mad when I go outside at night." Another pause. Then she giggled. "No, I can't. You're not supposed to be in the house." I froze. I pushed open the door gently. She was sitting on the edge of her bed, facing the open closet, not looking at me, just staring into the dark. The closet door creaked slightly in the draft. But I saw nothing inside, just hanging clothes and toys. "Sweetheart," I whispered. She turned, smiling sleepily. "Hi, Daddy. Who are you talking to?" Her smile faded. She looked back at the closet and shrugged. "Just my friend." Kids and imaginary friends, right? I tried to laugh it off, but something about her voice, how flat it sounded, stuck with me. And that night, I didn't sleep. The next day, I asked her about it again. "Hey, kiddo, what's your friend's name?" She frowned, picking at her cereal. "She doesn't have one." "She? What's she look like?" She tilted her head. "She doesn't look like people." I tried to keep my tone light. "What does she look like then?" She looked up at me and said, "Like if your shadow stood up and smiled." That night, I left her bedroom door open and kept mine cracked, just in case. Around 2:45 a.m., I woke again, no whispering this time. But the closet light in her room, something we never use, was on. I got out of bed and stepped quietly to her door. She was lying on her back now, staring at the ceiling, her eyes wide open. The light from the closet cast long, unnatural shadows across her face. "Daddy?" she said softly. I didn't speak. "She's standing next to you." I flipped on the bedroom light. Nothing. Just me and the open closet door. I checked every inch of that room, closet, under the bed, behind the curtains. But my daughter just watched me the whole time, smiling. "She doesn't like the light," she whispered. "But it's okay, she only wants to play." The next few nights were worse. I started hearing footsteps in the hallway, light at first, then louder, clicking sounds, like long fingernails tapping on the walls. My daughter's behavior changed. She stopped drawing animals and flowers. Now it was shadows, tall ones, with mouths drawn too wide, teeth like blades. One morning I found a drawing of our house. The windows were all black, and in her room a figure stood at the end of the bed, arms too long, fingers touching the floor. She had written one word across the top, "Her." That night, I set up a baby monitor, just in case. At 2:41 a.m. I woke to static, then a whisper, then my daughter's voice, "Okay, I'll do it." Then, another voice, not hers, older, lower, but not human. It said, "Take him to the closet." I ran, burst into her room. She wasn't in bed. The closet door was wide open. I fell to my knees and reached inside, searching, calling her name, and then she crawled out from under the bed, behind me, laughing. "Why are you in her room, Daddy?" she asked. I turned. The closet slammed shut. I tried to explain what happened to my wife. She didn't believe me. She thought I was overtired, stressed. But I saw it. I felt it. Something in that closet was watching me, us, waiting. Last night I heard the whisper again. This time not through the monitor, right behind me. I turned. Then I heard the closet creak open, and my daughter's voice. "She wants to meet you now." This morning my daughter won't speak to me. She just stares at the wall and smiles. The closet door is open again, and when I look inside, I see something moving in the dark. Something that grins when I do. Something that wears my daughter's voice and says, "She doesn't like you anymore, and neither do I." When we moved into the new house, my son started talking to someone who wasn't there. At first, I thought it was normal. Lots of kids have imaginary friends, especially after a big change. We'd uprooted our lives, new city, new jobs, new routines. The house was older, quiet, surrounded by woods that creaked at night and cast strange shadows through the windows. But I noticed things that didn't feel like part of a kid's imagination. It started small. "Who are you talking to? Buddy?" I asked one afternoon when I heard him whispering in the corner of his room. He looked up with that wide-eyed innocence only a 5-year-old can pull off and said, "I'm playing with Eli." "Is Eli someone from your school?" He shook his head. "No, he lives in the closet." I smiled, a little uneasy. "Oh yeah? What's Eli like?" He tilted his head. "He doesn't like you," I told my wife, and she laughed, said it was probably just a phase, but I wasn't so sure. The next morning, I found my wedding ring in the toilet. Later that week, the family photo on our nightstand was smashed, only my face shattered. One night, I woke up to my son standing at the side of the bed, staring at me. When I asked what was wrong, he whispered, "Eli says you shouldn't be here." Things got worse. I started hearing noises in the house, footsteps in the hallway, scratching at the walls, soft, muffled laughter through the baby monitor, even though we no longer had a baby. My son's drawings changed too. At first they were normal, stick figures, rainbows, smiley faces, but then they were all of Eli. He drew him over and over, tall, black eyes, no mouth, always hiding behind a door. One picture showed our house, me with a red X over my face, and Eli standing in the attic window. We'd never been in the attic. That night I got a ladder and opened the attic door, just a crawl space. Dust, insulation, old boards. Except there were footprints in the dust. Small, bare, leading in circles, and scratched into the wall in messy, uneven letters were the words, "He's watching you." I confronted my son. I knelt down and asked him gently who Eli really was. His lips quivered. He looked over my shoulder, then back at me. "Eli said if I tell, he'll take Mommy." I didn't sleep that night. Neither did my wife. We started hearing knocks on the walls, always around 3 a.m. One night, we woke up to every door in the house open. Every single one. Even the attic. We brought in a child psychologist. She spent an hour with him. When she came back, her face was pale. "What did he say?" I asked. She hesitated. "He says Eli is older than the house, that he was here before it was built. He says Eli doesn't like grown-ups." "What else?" She looked at me. "He said Eli told him you're the only one who can see him die." I started sleeping in the guest room after that. My wife didn't say it, but I could tell she was scared of what our son was becoming, of what I was becoming. And Eli was always there, even if we couldn't see him. Last night I woke up to whispering, 2 voices, my son's and something else. I crept down the hall toward his room. The door was cracked open. Inside, the nightlight cast long shadows. My son sat cross-legged on the floor, whispering toward the closet. He turned to look at me. "Daddy," he said, then his eyes rolled back, his mouth opened. And Eli spoke through him, in a voice that wasn't my son's, or even human. "I told you, you don't belong here." I ran to him, grabbed him, shook him. He blinked, looked confused. "What happened?" he asked. "Why are you scared?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. Today, he won't talk to me. He laughs when I enter the room, but he doesn't look at me. He talks to Eli more now. Eli tells him things. Tonight, I heard him whisper, "It'll be better when Daddy's gone." Right now, I'm sitting in the living room. All the lights are on, the doors are all locked, but I still hear footsteps in the hallway. My son is asleep, I think. But I swear I just saw someone standing in the doorway behind me, and when I looked in the mirror, I wasn't in it. But Eli was.